On the auspicious day of December 2nd, the long-awaited book Grace Alone was released. The celebration of Satya, Dharma, the Eternal Truth, started with the honoring of Param Sadguru Shree Gajanan Maharaj. The primary chief guest is none other than Param Sadguru Shree's grandson, Rajabhau Maharaj. Param Sadguru's sister, Srimathi Kamalatai Baburaoji Parkhe, also graced the occasion. Great spiritualist and scholar Gurudev Vidya Vachaspati Sri Shankar Abyankar enlightened the audience with his divine discourse. Also, none other than Param Sadguru Shree's disciple and sincere pracharak, Principal Dr. Shrimathi Kamaltai thakar, was also one of the main invitees at the podium. The program would not be complete without Dadashree, what Suvarnatai calls Guruji Shree Mohan Jadhav lovingly. Chiranjieevi, Isha, and Chiranjieevi Rohan, grandchildren of Suvarnatai, were blessed with the opportunity to take part in the main celebrations. The program ended in the midst of the hustle of book signing and reporters from the leading newspapers and TV stations.
I bow to the lotus feet of my most respected, venerable Sadguru Shri Dadashree with great respect and devotion, surrendering myself at the divine feet of my Sadguru. Except from the book Grace Alone. If Ishwar, that is Paramatma, meets you, what will you ask for? I was quite surprised at the question. It came from Shri Mohan Jadhav, Dadashree, disciple of the Supreme Spiritual Master and the Vaishvanar incarnation who resides in Akkalkot. I said, how can Ishwar meet me? But if he really meets you, then I could not grasp Dadashree's intention. I turned to perform the ritual of Agnihotra as he had instructed a while back. Dadashree interrupted. You may not have known that when you began to perform Agnihotra, you began to receive pure grace, the divine blessings. Dadashree visited me 1 month and 13 days after I began performing Agnihotra. He arrived at 10:30 in the morning. Earlier at 7 that morning, during my worship, I had seen Shri Shripad Shrivalabh seated gracefully in my sanctuary, my place of worship, not the deities on the altar. I reminded Dadashree that on other occasions he had come to my house at 7. The following Thursday, he came at 8 without my invitation. He sat in my sanctuary and asked me to sit before him. He said, Shri Swami Samartha has sent me. The worldly life is not for you anymore. I wondered why he was telling this. I had read about such sudden visits of Sadgurus at the disciples' residence and then initiating them. Dadashree proceeded to initiate me with the mantra Abhishek and asked me to repeat it as per his instruction. The whole event was beyond my understanding. After that he said to me, remember, the Supreme Spiritual Master, Sadguru Gajanan Maharaj, Shri. The knowledge that comes in dreams is the supreme knowledge. I have given you the most sacred mantra chanted by Shri Swami Samartha and the great sage Agastya. Later, Revered Sadguru Maharaj Shree gave me his darshan and said, "My dear girl, you are very fortunate." Dadashree added, "The greatest power in the universe stands behind you. The entire lineage of the spiritual teachers is with you. The relationship of Guru and disciple continues from one birth to the next, from one life to the next. We have granted you the unbroken and permanent Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham, granting you the total care all your life. This is the reassurance of Parabrahma, the Supreme Power." Dadashree resides in America, and even though he may be far away from his disciple, it does not matter. The knowledge comes through the graciousness of the spiritual master, the strong determination to observe the prescribed rules, true devotion, courage, patience, and firmness are essential to follow the path. The disciple should not lose his focus. He must be steadfast as he takes the path of the greatest supreme truth with the spiritual master's grace. Dadashree reminded me that the path is very difficult and demands rigorous effort. One must have the spirit of the warrior, not to deviate from the path under any circumstances. He added, "Once the knowledge is realized, everything is understood. That is the omniscient state. You will see the majesty and the grandeur of this yoga, which has no comparison. Even the sovereignty over the earth pales before this omniscient state. The one who attains the supreme state of grace reaches the highest state of spiritual consciousness, becomes God. There is no I consciousness in it. That is the supreme truth. Self-knowledge is the Swarup Yoga, the state of self-consciousness or identity with Brahma. That self-knowledge is eternal, without life and death, pure, spotless, and self-realizing. That state of self-knowledge takes you to perfection. There is only oneness. Dadashree has taken me on the path that leads to the highest truth by guiding me properly. He performed all the yogic kriyas to start out the meditations. Graciousness of Sadguru is part of my being. His loving graciousness inhabits my heart. Dadashree's advice was very valuable. He said, "Write your experiences that come to you during your meditation. Your experiences will guide other spiritual aspirants. All that I have experienced during my meditations have been recorded here. Surrendering myself at the divine feet of my Sadguru."